Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The online presentation session in Breakout Room 1 is about to begin. We have both of our session chair in the house, as well as the first presenter, so I think that we should start right away. So for these reasons, I would like to inform for all online participants to activate their camera on their respective Zoom application. Okay, thank you very much. Before we start the program, I would like to inform all the participants about general rules that we are having. First is to ensure your computer sound and volume level at the appropriate level. You may not hear the conference if it is disabled or turned down. Use headset or earbud if available to reduce external noises. Identify your Zoom account with your actual name. Stay seated and stay present. Do dress appropriately. Be aware of your surroundings. Do not interrupt other speakers. Do not make distracting sounds or movements. Also fill the attendance forms and feedback form as can be seen later will be distributed to the chat box. And finally, respect, because the key to successful virtual conference is to remember that you are in a meeting. Give your full attention to the participant as you would if you were in the same room. Don't be distracted by other tasks. Try not to eat or drink so that you can be prepared to actively involve in our discussion. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Riomadani Sitompul. On behalf of the organizing committee, it is my pleasure to welcome you here this afternoon through this virtual platform. Welcome to the International Conference on Industrial and System Engineering, Technology, Innovation, and Management, ICISETIM, online presentation session, Breakout Room 1. Her Excellency, our session chair from the Salle University, Philippines, Dr. Miriam F. Bongo. Her Excellency, our session chair from University Putra, Malaysia, Dr. Ng Siao Im. Excellency, distinguished guests, delegates, and all participants of the International Conference on Industrial and System Engineering Technology, Innovations and Management, ICISETIM. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us today. Welcome to the ICISETIM, which is hosted by Maranatha Christian University and Research Synergy Foundations, co-organized by De La Salle University, Petra Christian University, and Chung Yuan Christian University, also supported by Scholar Vein, Research Synergy Institute, Reviewer Track, RSF Press, F1000 Research, and Taylor and Francis Group. The conference aims and theme is to explore integrated system engineering, technology, innovations, and management. Regarding the material of the conference, the virtual background, as well as the conference program, can be accessed through the links that will be distributed in the chat box later. So please mind the chat box. Meanwhile, for the proceeding paper will be available at the researchsynergypress.com later on the approximate day plus 10 after the conference finish. Regarding the Q&A and a certificate, Q&A can only be asked via Zoom chat box. Please write your questions and the name of the presenter that should answer it. And our session chair will manage the time as available. The certificate will be provided to register email after the sessions for participants who completely and actively involved in presenting their paper or asking the questions or give feedback in the session. As for audio and video, all participants are required to mute their audio, and the host has every right to remove who are deemed disruptive without warning. Okay, finally, without further ado, let's start our online presentation session in Breakout Room 1. We will have 7 presenters, as you can see on the screen, from 2 different tracks. The first track is Technology and Innovation Management, and the second track is Track Management. And for today's sessions, we will have Dr. Miriam F. Bongo and Dr. Ng Siao M as the session chair. But before I hand over the floor to our session chair, I would like to read the profile of our session chair. Our first session chair She's an associate professor of the Industrial and System Engineering Department of Gokongwei College of Engineering at De La Salle University, the LSU. She earned her Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering and Master of Engineering in Industrial Engineering degrees last 2014 and 2016, respectively, at the University of San Carlos, Cebu. Later, she earned her Doctor of Philosophy in Industrial Engineering degree at the LSU last June 2021. She was granted a full graduate scholarship under the Engineering Research and Development for Technology ERDT, Department of Science and Technology DOST, for both her master's and PhD degrees. She is an active member of professional organizations, namely Philippine Institute of Industrial Engineers (PIIE), and also serves as a member of the editorial team of the International Foundations for Productions Research (IFPR), the Asia Pacific Roundtable of Sustainable Consumptions and Production (APRCP), and International Society for Industry Ecology Asia Pacific. She is currently a guest editor of the Journal of Cleaner Productions, Impact Factor 9297, and the editor-in-chief of the upcoming Philippine Association of Engineering Schools, PAES journal. She has published several Scopus Index journals articles and conference paper under research areas of decision-making, optimization modeling, and air transpiration system, among others. Sorry. As of March 2022, her Scopus H index is 7 and her Google Scholar H index is 10. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be the first one to introduce you and welcome from De La Salle University, Philippines, Dr. Miriam F. Bongo. Welcome, Doctor.
Thank you, Rio. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to be here this afternoon. Looking forward to a very fruitful discussion later with our presenters. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Next, our session chair from University Putra Malaysia. She completed her PhD in management from University of Western Australia. She is currently an associate professor in the School of Business and Economics, University Putra Malaysia. She has industry experience in the areas of human resources and export management with internationalizing Malaysian companies. She teaches principles of management, cross-cultural management, business research methods. She has authored and co-authored many articles in referred and professional journals, including Tourism Management, International Marketing Review, Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Research, British Food Journal, Asia Pacific Journal of Marketing and Logistics, and Journal of Air Transport Management. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Ing Seo Im from University Putra Malaysia. Doctor?
Thank you, Rio. Thank you for the introduction. And hi, Miss Dr. Miriam. Also, all the participants in this session, very much looking forward to your presentations and learn from all of you on the innovation related research.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Bongo, Dr. Im. It is a pleasure to work with you today. Also, thank you for the support for this event. So right now, it is time for me to hand over the floor to both of you, our session chair, so we can proceed the presentations.
All right, Dr. Miriam and I have briefly discussed, and we are going to co-chair, right, the session in a way where the management-related title will be introduced and evaluated by me, whereas technological, engineering-related title will be chaired, by Dr. Miriam. All right, at the same time, Dr. Miriam will be taking care of time. Okay, so for all participants, right, each one of you is given 10 minutes for presentation and 5 minutes for Q&A session, all right? And so far on paper, I think we have 8, but right now, Mr. Rio only shared about 7, so meaning one of the participants, Indrati, is not here, right? In that case, we probably can extend Q&A for some of the titles that has received more comment or maybe questions from the floor. Without further ado, can I please welcome the first presenter of the session, Roland Yosna Hasunungan, all right, with the title of assessment, assessment of management innovation in a dairy company. In a dairy company, right? In a dairy company, that's all, right? So basically short title. All right, so Roland, all yours.
Thank you, Dr. Eng. Allow me to share my presentation. Good afternoon, all the participants. Thank you for the opportunity, especially to the organizing committee of ICISETIM. My name is Roland Silitonga. We are from Harapan Bangsa Institute of Technology, Bandung, Indonesia. And today we want to share our study about the assessment of managerial innovation in a dairy company. The content is like this. Yeah, we study about, we name it company X. Yeah, actually it has been go public, so it is a well-known company. And the product is mostly ultra high temperature milk or ultra heat treatment milk. There are 60 UHT products produced by this company, and they use modern technology for packaging, logistics, and also in IT. They have a market share of 40% in Indonesia, so it's a big market share. And every year they develop new product, about 2 to 5 new products. So we can think that it is an innovative company. Along with the increasing of the community welfare, the milk consumption in Indonesia is become increasing, and unfortunately for company X, the market share has become lower and lower. There are 3 big companies in UHT milk product, and company X market share from 2014 to 2019 is decreased. So the demand is increased, but the market share is, yeah, okay, slightly decreased, but because the UHT milk is the primary source of the income of the company X, it's become a big problem for them. So we want to know how to improve it. Based on the discussion with the stakeholder in the company, especially the top executive, they think that the product, most of the product is in maturity stage. Yeah, if assume we have 100 products, around 90%, 90 products in maturity stage. So it's become a big problem because they have to continue produce new product. So based on this assumption or this prediction, the company want us to check or study the capability to do the innovation. We start with the managerial innovation. So the purpose of the study is to measure the managerial innovation level of the company and use evolution of managerial function as the base for the study. We also measure the managerial function using fuzzy ASP, fuzzy analytical hierarchy process. The previous study by Ihan and Osmel has been conducted for managerial innovation, but the problem is it does not explain how to measure the weight of managerial function. And then we also check the innovation research by Silitonga and Setiawati and also Silitonga and Siagian. They use ASP method but still there is a little problem about the objectivity of the study. So here in our study, we want to use the fuzzy ASP. What is the managerial function evolution? Managerial innovation in the company is the company's ability to change and handle changes, and then to check the managerial innovation, we use managerial evolution. So here, this is the managerial evolution from pre-scientific management up to the virtual management. And then we want to study the company in which stage of every managerial function, planning, organizing, and etc., the company has. So based on the previous study, the management type here, from the pre-scientific management up to the virtual management, we will check the company, and then based on the types, based on the stage, we will give weight, 2 to the power of 0, 2 to the power of 1, 2 to the power of 2, and the maximum is 2 to the power of 4 for each managerial function: planning, organizing, leading, controlling, and coordinating. So the research method we use is like this. First, we do observation using observation protocol to the executives. We choose 4 high executives to measure the management type of each function. And then we also use questionnaire to the employees to get their perception of the importance of each managerial function. The result of the observation, we use it for calculating the managerial function innovation capability. And then the result of the questionnaire, we use it to calculate the managerial function weight using fuzzy ASP. And then finally, we determine the level of managerial innovation index, just one measurement, one number. The equation we use is simply 2. The first one is CI here. This is the managerial function innovation capability for each management function. And then the result of the CI here, we will be used to determine the level of managerial innovation. Here, the WI here is the weight that where we use the fuzzy ASP. The scale number for the fuzzy ASP we use from Chen, Kai, Wang, and Xiaojun, 2013. So the result or the finding is for the planning function, the company has 4 elements related to the evolution of the managerial function. For procedure, if I go back here, pre-scientific department and etc. So we can use the level, the most previous, the most basic level is procedure. There is a standard procedure for an issue, and the leader has explained it structurally. We found it in the observation using observation protocol. And also plan process, the leader provides affirmation for its activity that exists and it's needed in planning. Also in element program, there is a specific target given by officers to the employees, and also the rolling plan. So based on the 2 to the power of 0, 1, up to 4 rule, we can calculate the level of innovation in planning using the formula I mentioned previously. Also the same with the organizing. We only find one element. The organization is department basis. So we only have one level here. So the innovation of organizing is 0.125 or 12.5%. In the leading, the company has two elements related to the evolution of managerial function. Participant, leader involved in planning, internal meetings and discussion with the employees. Also the esteem, the leader use a modern and unique way of conducting training and meetings and an informal meeting with the employees. So after using the equation, we found that innovation of the leading has a very high value, 83.33%. In controlling, the company has two elements related to the evolution of managerial function: continuous and self-control, control of the problem that occurs solved by employees according to the operational standard and without any assistance from the leader, and also integrated. And after determining using the same equation, we found that the innovation level of controlling is 80%. And same with coordinating. In the coordination function, the company has three elements related to the evolution of managerial function. Management information system. The company use ERP, Oracle, as an integrated information system. The internet also used to support business processes, especially to communicate between departments, and also using artificial intelligence. The company use robots and automatic machine for production, packaging, and storage. So also here, the innovation level of coordinating has high value, 62.5%. To measure the weight of each management function, we use fuzzy AHP. For all of you that familiar with AHP, we know that the geo-mean is very important. And then this is the traditional AHP. We change it into fuzzy number, triangular fuzzy number. And then based on that, we can also add the total row here. And finally, we can calculate the fuzzy weighted factor, which is all the same, 1 to the total of 5. So based on that, we can finally determine the weight of each managerial function. It is interesting that firstly in the geo-mean, there is a difference importance between planning, organizing, leading in the perception of the employee. But using fuzzy AHP, we can conclude that all the weight of each managerial function has the same weight, 0.2 or 20%. And then based on the weight, we can calculate it, the total or overall managerial innovation level using the equation that I have presented before. And we found that the managerial innovation level is 50%. Based on the previous study, the number 57% is categorized as innovative. So our conclusion for our study here, the score of managerial innovation for the company is 57%, and the company is perceived innovative in planning, leadership, controlling, and coordination, because these 4 managerial functions have scores above 50%. But meanwhile, the organizing function has the lowest score. Organizing function can be improved by converting the organization structure from function-based organization to territory-based and or customer-based organization. Yeah. Actually, this is still continuing the research, but we see that territory-based and or customer-based organization will support the innovation, because company X has been exporting their product worldwide now. So although we have not finished our further research, I think the team think that this is also will improve the innovative level of the company. Further research we are still doing now should explore the correlation between managerial innovation and the product innovation. Managerial innovation is only the potential, so we want to check, is it there any relation between the managerial innovation and product innovation. Up to now, we are researching the critical success factor of the product innovation by using the questionnaire to the customer of the product, and then we want to relate it to the level of each managerial innovation. I think that's all about our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Roland, for your presentation. Very interesting topic. Yeah, you're actually looking at the case study of one company, right? Right. So within the case study, you actually try to get multiple sources of data, right, through the observation technique and also questionnaire technique. So that is actually quite comprehensive. Yeah. May I invite questions from the floor? Anyone has any questions? Did we get any question from the chat, Mr. Rio? There's no questions from the chat, right? Okay, so whoever have questions, can I invite you to unmute yourself and ask verbally? Orally. Ask orally instead of writing in the chat, if any one of you has any questions. If not, then I have a few questions. Maybe I'll kick off with some questions to Mr. Roland before before the others join in. All right. All right. So Mr. Roland, I'm impressed, with the innovation, right? You are actually trying to understand the innovation level, innovation capability level, and whether or not that is the root cause, right? That could be the root cause for the problem that you highlighted. Yeah, the demand, the industry demand is actually higher, but the market share of company X, right? So do you mean company X is UHT milk? I mean, are they the same, UHT versus company X?
Company X produce UHT milk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So why is it that you are using company X?
Actually, we are the consultant of the company X, so they invite us to do the research.
Right. So it has to be basically anonymous, yeah. So it's actually being disguised, isn't it? Disguised. My question is.
Problem is okay for Indonesian people. You are all know Ultra Jaya. Okay, so it's it has been go public for years ago, so it's okay to mention the company.
Right. Yep. It's basically very interesting. Yeah. It's actually totally industry, right? Industry hands-on consultation project that you are linking, to the literature content about innovation. In order for you to observe, right? You were saying that you used observation technique, right, to measure or to a certain extent capture innovation level of the executives. All right. How do you differentiate, right, the PLC that is related to innovation, right? PLC can be PLC, right? PLCC on basically day-to-day function, day-to-day operation, not necessarily related to innovation, right? So I mean, my question is, how do you basically design the observation protocol to the extent they're able to capture innovation-related POLCC?
Based on the definition of each stage of each managerial function, we put the list. If we can find the evidence of each of the list, then we put in the record, okay, we found one. Gitu. That's why, for example, in the planning, we can find more than one evidence. Yeah, it is based on the definition of the stage of evolution of each managerial function. I'm not really sure I'm answering your question, but
yes, to a certain extent, you are basically making me understand better. I'm just a little bit confused. Your title is about innovation, and you're trying to measure the innovation capability level using observation technique, and you were saying that you have an observation protocol, and then when you present the results, you actually refer to evolution of management function, evolution of POLCC. So what is the relation between evolution and innovation? Are they the same?
Based on based on the previous study from Otsmill, they state that the stage can reflect the level of innovation potential of the management.
Right. Can you give us example on what are the evidences that you picked up on planning? For example, you were saying that planning innovation is actually being manifested, being observed, right? So the evidences is there. So can you give us tangible example on what do you mean by innovation in planning? If not planning, then you can give any example, relating to the innovation capability that you're able to find that constitute the 57%, right? Planning, leading, controlling, and coordinating, except low in organizing. So, I mean, what do you mean by evidences? And in what way, what are the example of evidences that you can actually show us in order for us to really understand how you measure innovation capability?
Okay. Back to the coordination. The company use ERP. ERP is the evidence of the stage level artificial intelligence stage of the coordinating management function is the highest and the most sophisticated. We found one here, and this is only one evidence, and then that is the meaning of evidence.
All right. Okay, good one. Thank you so much for enlightening us, on the capability measurement. All right, there's one question from the floor, task, right? But the question of which technology is the best to be used in dairy industry that you have observed. Just now you actually picked up ERP. Other than ERP, is there any other technology that you observe which is most effective? I think that is the question. Can you elaborate?
The company we observe are still in, if you know, Industrial Revolution 3.0. And in our opinion, it's enough, automation. It's very general, but here, our observation is still in 3.0.
All right. So that is the observation based on one company, right?
Yeah. Yeah, only one
Observation
company.
based on company and okay. Any specific technology that you're able to observe other than ERP? You know, is there any other specific technology rather than you know?
They're using the latest UST production technology.
Right.
I think
Okay.
the best because we also conduct a study comparison with European company and are in the match, but yeah, but
right.
better in innovation, product innovation.
Okay. All right. All right. I think time's almost up, right, Dr. Miriam?
Yes, it's the time for Q&A is over now.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Miriam. So, and also thank you so much, Dr. Roland, for sharing very interesting title on the innovation capability, yeah, of the dairy milk company. Thank you so much, yeah. And also thank you participation from TAS, yeah, the question, and we are happy, yeah. We hope that your second project, yeah, able to achieve, yeah, good basically outcome, right? So congratulations for a good job well done. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Roland.
Dr. Ang, thank you, all of you.
Okay, Dr. Mariam will be chairing the second presenter, yeah?
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Im. Now let's proceed to the second presenter of the day. Our presenter is Alexander Kristen. He will be talking about a proposal on how to use software reliability growth model to build confidence in dashboard testing. So let's all welcome Dr. Alexander Kristen.
Okay, let me share my screen. Is my screen okay?
Yes, we can see your screen. Go ahead.
Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Today, I, as the representative of our research group, will present our paper. So my name is Alexander Kristen, and our topic will be a proposal on how to use ICISETIM to build confidence in dashboard testing. So this will be the overview of our presentation. Then we will go with the introduction. So recently, software testing has become an integral part of software development process and software engineering. Usually, companies have their own cycle of doing software development. But regardless, the ultimate question that the executives want to answer are usually, when will the software be released? Or how confident that most defects or bugs have been discovered during testing or development process.
I'm very sorry, Dr. Kristen.
Yeah.
Your slide stuck on the title.
Sorry?
Your presentation is stuck on the first slide.
Wait. Is it not working? Is it not working?
It's visible now.
Okay. So then the two questions earlier are hard to answer since there is no prior knowledge of how many defects are there in the system. So usually researchers use software reliability and growth model, or SRGM, to attempt to predict software reliability using test data that is available. And they do the prediction using functions such as bus, comparts, logistic, weighable, etc. Next, we will go with the literature review. So many researchers before us have used bus, comparts, and or logistic before. Although most research that we found focus on how good a model can fit in predicting the growth of the software reliability. And our paper will not compare for better model, but instead, we intend to recommend to use several models together to illustrate several possible scenarios for better decision making. This will be the mathematical models that we will use for this study, and we will use bus, Gompertz, and logistic. Next, we'll go with the methodology. We have to make a basic assumption for our analysis. And our assumption is just these two basic. The first one is the number of defects in any software is finite and unknown. And the second one is perfect debugging. So perfect debugging means that if a defect is discovered, it will be fixed without introducing another bug. This will be our hypothesis. The first one is, regardless of the method, early prediction of the estimated number of defects will never be good. Second is, the estimated number of defects in the system will have a high variability for our methods. Third, the variation of estimated number of defects in the system will be high across all methods. Fourth, when most defects are discovered, the estimated number of defects will be stable over time. And the last one is the variation of estimated number of defects across all methods will also become less. Or all good SRGM will converge into similar true number of maximum defect towards the end. This will be our datasets. We take 18 datasets from software testing, and we take it from various published journals that is available online. And from those 18 datasets, we can classify it into 3 types, which is open source software, commercial software, and government or military software. And then we also divide the dataset into 2 periods. The first one is early period. For early prediction, we use day 1 until day 21, day 1 until day 22, until day 1 until day 25 for daily. And for weekly, it is first 5, first 6, until first 9 weeks. And for monthly, it will be first 6, first 7, until first 10 months. So basically, early period will be the first 5 data points. And for the stabilization period, it will be the last 5 data points of each respective data sets. Now, the reason why we use 3 data points is that some of our data sets are actually not that big. That's why we don't have the luxury to use 5 data points like on the early period. So for the R packages that we will use, we use diffusion and Demora for bus, SS Gompertz and growth rates for Gompertz, and growth curve and growth rates for logistic. Next, we'll go with the result. So this box plot is the result of our analysis. So to prove the H1 and H2, we can see here that almost all values for M are way off from the actual known defects, with only some few exceptions. And then we can also see that almost all CVs is more than 5%, with the median of bus is 32.5, Gompertz is 31, and logistic is 18%. Because of this, we can safely say that H1 and H2 are correct. And for H4 and H5, we can see that almost all CVs for M is less than 5%, with very few exceptions, and the mean of M is close to the known defects, which means that H4 and H5 are also correct. So this is the table for H3 analysis. And from this table, we can see that most CVs are bigger than 5%. And even though there are some that is less than 5%, we can see that the average value of M are actually way lower than the known defect, which means that H3 are also correct. Then we will go with the stopping rule proposal that we propose. We have to assume first that the distribution frequency of defects found per unit time is a bell curve. Our first definition is that a software will be called as stable at time t when the moving average of defects found at a certain period n is less than or equal to a factor times previously known max defect found in a unit time. So larger n and or smaller a means that there will be more confidence that software doesn't have remaining defect. For the second definition is that a software is called stable when the cumulative defect found at time t is bigger than or similar to a factor times maximum potential defects m from SRGM. In this equation, we can define f as arithmetic mean, geometric mean, or anything. But the most important point is that the CV of all of those m should be less than 5%. After we propose the stopping rule, we also make the stopping rule flow chart to make sure that it is easier for companies to follow. Then we also use the definition that we propose to apply it to our data sets. And this is the results. In conclusion, when most defects are found, most SRGMs will converge into a similar value of maximum potential defect in the system. Then, when the predicted value of maximum potential defects from various SRGMs have small CV, it is very likely to represent true maximum defects in the system. And lastly, there are some datasets that exhibits second wave phenomenon, meaning that perfect debugging assumption is not always true. And we think that it will be a nice topic for further research. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Alexander, Christian, for your presentation. Do we have any questions from the group? Okay, let me begin with my question. The others might still be trying to formulate their own. But again, thank you very much, Alexander, for your presentation. It was very interesting, especially that the research gap that you were trying to address was on point. Now, I'd like to know, what are the limitations of the model SRGM that you have made use in your study?
I think the limit is that when like the one that I said earlier, like sometimes there will be a data that have a second wave, meaning that you might think that it is okay to stop here, but in reality the data actually is the defect is actually gonna increase again. And yeah, we think that that is one of the limitations.
All right. I have another question for you. You also made mention about the distribution assumption for the number of defects. You mentioned it followed a bell curve distribution.
Yes.
Okay, or in short, that's a normal distribution. Okay,
Yes.
what was the basis of this assumption? For all we know, when we do any statistical study, the behavior of the parameters, like for the case of this paper, the behavior of the defects itself could actually follow either a normal or non-normal pattern. So I'd like to know what was the basis of this assumption?
So we assume it to be normal distribution because during early phase, of course, the tester doesn't have like a lot of knowledge in how to test the new software. That's why the defect that they found probably will be small, but over time, they have more knowledge in the software itself. So the defects that they found will be increasing. And at some point, it will start to decrease to the point that it would be like you only found 1 or 2 per testing. So we think that it follows a normal distribution.
All right, but do you think there will be some preliminary steps later in the future if you want to extend this paper? Preliminary steps that would involve perhaps accurately identifying the distribution of the defects. Would that be possible?
Yeah, I think it will be possible for further research as well.
All right, thank you, Alexander. Let's try to see if there are any questions, additional questions for your presentation. Okay, I think there's no more questions. So I think that ends your presentation, Alexander. Very much. Thank you for your very insightful presentation.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right, let's now proceed to the third presenter. So we are going to talk about two-stage memory allocation using AHP and knapsack at PT Berka Hardaya Perkasa. So please all welcome Khanis, Satya, Nugraha.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bongo. Let me share my. I cannot share screen yet. Committee. Oh, okay. Okay. Please wait. Is my screen visible?
Yes, we can see your screen. You may proceed.
Okay. Hello, everyone. On behalf of my team, I would like to present our team's paper titled Two-Stage Memory Allocation using HP and knapsack at PT Berka Hardaya Perkasa. So, as a prologue, let me introduce my teammates first. So, at first is Dr. Indriati Jotobisono, your typical everyday lecturer. She is my lecturer in university and also a scientist specialized in Bayesian modeling and extreme values. The second is Dr. Hanianto Suwandi. He is a vice president of microsurgery technology and also a lecturer. Unfortunately, he cannot attend due to work. And myself, a first year student. So to begin with, let me tell you about PT Berka Hardaya Perkasa. PT Berka Hardaya Perkasa is a company that specializes in giving big data solutions to various companies in Indonesia. Many of their clients are famous. For example, you have Tokopedia, Shopee, Gudang Garam, Astra, and etc. So during my internship at PT Berka Hardaya Perkasa, I encountered a problem, to be specific, a problem regarding memory allocation on a certain business intelligence application that I used during that internship, known as MicroStrategy. The MicroStrategy, the same thing, the same company that Hani worked in. So MicroStrategy is a very famous business intelligence application around the world due to its versatility in delivering data to its users. Because it's a business intelligence application, right? It could give dashboards, it could make reports, but what the things that make it versatile, as I decided before, is that how the way it is to deliver data to its users. For example, on your right side here is one of the projects that I work on. It's called MicroStrategy Hypercard, which is a dashboard that is activated by embedding a keyword to your dashboard and connecting your dashboard to your search engine using extension in your search engine. But let's move on to the main topic. So the problem that I've encountered is basically is that RAM is weaker than intelligent cube, or in a sense that my RAM cannot handle the intelligent cube that I should work on. So what is an intelligent cube, right? So to answer that question, it's important to understand how MicroStrategy works first, I think. So this is how MicroStrategy works. So you have source systems, ETL process, and data warehouse. So source system is basically you gather your raw data into one place, and ETL process is basically a process of transferring your data to data warehouse. Data warehouse is a software that is used to store data, obviously. An example of data warehouse is SQL Server Management Studio. if if the audience is not familiar with it, I suggest you search on the internet because there are many informations. And after that, in MicroStrategy, you have metadata and intelligence server. Metadata is just your data converted into either fact, attribute, or metric. Fact is a numerical data. Attribute is a non-numerical data or qualitative data. And metric is just fact combined with mathematical functions. For example, min, max, sum, average. Intelligence server is a place where you place your metadata. In intelligence server, your metadata can be work in a project. And the project is work on developer or web, or to be specific, MicroStrategy developer, or which is an offline version of MicroStrategy, and MicroStrategy web, an online version of MicroStrategy. Besides that, they also have MicroStrategy Enterprise, which is a lighter version of MicroStrategy developer, and MicroStrategy mobile, which is a mobile version of MicroStrategy web. If in four of these, you could create reports, documents, dashboards, and etc. Moving on back to Cube. Cube is a set of data that can be shared as a single in-memory copy. I usually call this thing the mom. Why mom, right? So basically, an intelligent cube is basically a master data that is converted into cube. And after that, you can use the cube to generate the children, which is basically a report that contains a partial data of the mother or the master report. So of course you could also make report 1, report 2, report 3, report 4 one by one, but that process is quite slow because making a report, you use your hard drive rather than your RAM. Whereas by making children through Intelligent Cube, you use your RAM, which is faster than your hard drive. If you do not know what hard drive is, it's basically your system C. I think it's in every PC in the world. So this is the illustration of how a cube, a project could have multiple cubes. But what I want all of you to focus is the status and the project, because both of these will answer what is the purpose of this paper. The paper purpose. So a cube have three status: active, loaded, and file. Active basically means that your cube is ready to be used. Loaded means that your cube is in use, and file is basically your file is not used yet. What happens if your RAM is weaker than your cube? So what happens in my case is that it's cube in, cube out. What does it mean, right? Cube in, cube out means that the system will basically replace your, you will unload your loaded cube and replace it with the one of your choosing, in a sense. So basically what happens is that in my case, in the internship, is that the cube, I need to load a cube, but my memory is cannot handle it. So the system kind of pull out the memory that I loaded, even though that I need that cube to work on. So, and also when you do unloading and loading cube, the unloading process takes some time. So if you do not like wait to if you do not like to have a loading time, this will be very annoying process for you, just like me. And also in projects, right? MicroStrategy have a built-in memory allocation for RAM, which is per project. In that you could basically manage how much your RAM in caching and auxiliary caches, and etc. So what we have here is a MAM that is problematic, a very complex built-in memory allocation protocol, and a limited RAM. So so I kind of got me thinking, right? I have 5 projects and 30 cubes, and let's just say I have 30 gigabyte, right? How to distribute 30 gigabyte among 5 projects? Do you simply do 30 divided by 5? Of course not, right? Because some projects will perhaps need more than other. For example, project 1 might need 10, project 2 might just need 4. Or or what happens if I have a 16? Of course, this will make me not only need to consider how to distribute the RAM, but also which cubes needs to be loaded, because I'm assuming that not all cubes will be loaded due to my incapabilities of RAM. So of course you could also buy RAM, but the solution is ineffective because it costs money and your RAM slot is limited. So after some research with my teammates, we have a solution which is called two-stage memory allocation, using AHP for memory allocation for each project and knapsack for using which cubes to load. So time to prove this. Problem formulation and research method, right? So I make a case 30 iCubes that are grouped into 5 micro projects, 30 GB of RAM, and those 5 projects will use up to 3.6 to load their schema objects. Similarly, we plan to allocate 2 GB for object cache, 2 GB for element cache, 4 GB for report and document caches, and 8 GB for processing calculation. So total available memory will only be 12.4 GB. Before we begin, we need to uncheck load Negen Cube on startup, because we will do this manually in a sense. So first test problem AHP, right? Basically what we do for this one is we do a survey regarding what makes project important. So after we give it to the company, we got due date, number of users in the project, number of objects in the project, perceived response time of dashboard, and perceived response time of browsing. And 3 of this qualitative, 3 of this is quantitative. We use AHP in Satya, published in 1977 and 1980. Comparison of this, the result of comparison of 5 criterion. This is the qualitative data we use by pairwise. This is the normalized weight of quantitative data. And this is the HP result of criteria and overall project ranking. So we got the most important criteria is perceived response time of dashboard, followed by browsing, number of users accessing the project, number of users or number of objects in the project, and due date. And we got the RAM allocation, which is you can see on the right side with the weight also. So basically what happened here is that after we got the weight, we kind of convert it to the RAM. We have the second stage knapsack, right? So from here we have we basically, as you can see on the blue the parts that I paint blue, this is the memory that is used on the that is allocated for the knapsack. And actually, if you see all of this, there are some spaces that are not used. So after that, we kind of use the remaining space to load the remaining cubes that is available. And after finally, you have the final results. This is final results. And that's how two-stage memory allocation using HP and knapsack work. Thank you. Any questions?
All right. Again, thank you very much, Khanis, Satya, for your presentation. Do we have any questions from the room? Presentation on memory allocation using AHP and knapsack analysis. Let me start the questions for you. Your work actually holds a lot of potential, Khanis. In fact, I'm very intrigued with how you're able to conceptualize everything from the use of MCDM tools down to the use of knapsack problem. I've also had some works involving some MCDM tools, like for example, Prometheus 2. I've also worked with Elector problems and even Demetel-based ANPs. I would say that my knowledge of the MCDM tools is actually quite wide in a way. All right, so I'd like to know, there are plenty of MCDM tools, and I'm sure that you were able to come across some of those tools while you were doing your study. I'd like to know what was your mental model in finally selecting AHP to be considered in your work?
The mental model. Oh. So why AHP, right? Because actually it's not my mental model. It's not actually a mental model, I think, Professor. I kind of pick and choose in the sense, so I kind of research a bit, and I kind of try one by one. So I kind of found IHP. Why I choose IHP actually because it's kind of simple, I think, for me. Of course, there could be other models, right? I kind of consult to my teammates, Dr. Hani, which is vice president of microstrategy, and he said yes, there could be possible other models to be used, but do the models that you are comfortable with. So since I am comfortable with HP, I choose HP.
Okay. Who were the experts that you tapped for the evaluation of the projects with respect to the factors that you were considering? How many of them? Number of experts and who the experts were?
Oh, my teammate, Dr. Hani Swandi, and also Dr. Indri for statistics stuff. And I think that's it. Yeah, I just consult to those two. Because Hani could also consult to other staff at microsurgery since his work there. So I think that's enough.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Khanis, Satya, for that. Do you have any other questions for him before we proceed to the next presenter? Some more questions? All right, so I think that's all. Again, thank you, Khanis, for your presentation.
Thank you, Doctor.
Very insightful. All right. Let's now have the fourth presenter of the day. He is Jani Rahardjo, and he will be presenting to us an implementation of Six Sigma philosophy and 6S principles on bag-making warehouse at PPX. Let's all welcome Mr. Jani Rahardjo.
Thank you, Ms. Pongo. Yeah, may I share my slide first? Okay, can you see my slide?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Okay. Good afternoon, all of you. Thank you for the time, Ms. Pongo. Yeah, actually, today I will present for my student project. Yeah, the name is implementation of Six Sigma philosophy and 6S principle on bag making warehouse at the company X. Yeah. May I introduce myself? I'm Jani. Yeah. Actually, this project is under my student. He is Luke Pratama, but actually he is not attend in this conference. Yeah. Okay. I'm from Petra Kristen University, and especially my student is from the International Business Engineering. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Before we start for the problem, yeah, I introduce that company first. Yeah. Actually, that project is in the company X, is company specialization in rotography, printing, laminating, and flexible packaging. Yeah. And in one of division in that company is bag making division that is in charge of the processing of print roll using machine to the form of the bag. Yeah, yeah. That company is quite a lot of producing a product. Yeah, but we just take one product in the bag making division. And actually, this process is involved folding the sheet. Yeah. The process involved folding the sheet and sealing the joint and the cutting in the sheet in order to create a bag. Yeah, yeah. After the production schedule, all of the excess bag, actually that are not sent to the customer, they are kept in the box and then put it in the area designated for the storage. But the problem now, yeah, the storage is quite a lot of things, so quite difficult to manage that the things in that storage. Even though the company has already designated the place for the excess product, but the product are not monitored. So there's a lot of problem in the making division storage. Yeah. So in this problem, we stated the problem. Actually, we want to actually the state of the problem is what factor causes the bag making or storage to be built up, and what step the company needs to take in order to manage that the item in the bags making storage. What action the company needs to plan in order to avoid similar problem happening in the future. Like you see in the right picture, you know, a lot of things in that bag making division in the storage. So my student or my project actually want to analyze and want to reduce, want to improve that kind of the thing to put in the some rack or some area, so quite easy to take or quite more efficient. Okay, now the purpose of the research, actually to know the what factors causes the bag making or storage to be built up, and to formulate the steps the company needs to take in order to manage the item in the bag making storage. And finally give suggestion to the company about action to take in order to avoid similar problem happening in the future. Now, how to solve the problem? We propose some methods. We call Six Sigma DMAIC methods. This is a philosophy of the Six Sigma. It's called DMAIC. Start from the beginning. We define of the problem, and after that we measure and analyze, and we improve and control. Okay, start in the define. Actually, after we know the condition of the company, we define that is the lack of the warehouse management causes neither the operator or admin knows whether the item mentioned is in the warehouse or not. So because of the lack of warehouse management, it's quite hard to assess. To assess quite hard. And maybe they doesn't know the item stock, on quite difficult to search to find the item. And sometimes they long time to searching the item. And after we know the define, we have to measure. So before the measure, we gather the data. So the data will be observed from the operator when the operator search the product until they got it, or maybe whether they are not got it the product, we write it, we observe. But the observation, the observation we take 30 observation, and the observation result before the improvement is like that. The first, we take a time, and finally they got the product or they not got the product. So we can write it and we can analyze this. That the mean of the observed is around 166.2 seconds with the standard deviation, and the mean, a standard error for the mean, and the item is found or not found. So that means 60% from that item is can got the item, and 40% they cannot got the item. From the data, now we analyze with the fishbone analyze. Actually the fishbone analyze we categorize for the 4 category. For the personal, measurement, methods, and environment. For example, in the measurement, they observe, they analyze no quantity information. Why they don't have a quantity information? Because they don't have inventory management. So the lack of knowledge about that item inside leads to become unaware about the condition inside. Discontinued product remain inside the storage. Doesn't have an inventory management system for the storage. This is regarding the TCS 2018 proof that having a warehouse management system can help to manage items going in and out of the warehouse. Okay, and the personnel, they observe, they know the puts unrelated item in that area. So in that area, everyone put everything in that area. So quite difficult to separate it. Yeah. So that means the area is quite unrelated items such as palette, work in process item and material, etc. Yeah. And the methods, yeah, they analyze no standard procedure, and thus the operator fell under clear about the instruction. Yeah, lack of the standard procedure is leads to the item in the store is unable to go out. Yeah. And the environment they also find, yeah, is according that the cell in the bag making storage area is not able to accommodate all of the item. So they have a limited for the storage area. Yeah. So from all of the cost of analysis, yeah, cost analysis, now we go to the improve. So that project, yeah, we propose, we solve the problem with the implementation 6S of the lean manufacturing. Yeah, actually in the lean manufacturing, actually they have a 5S, but we plus 1S is called safety. Yeah. Now, yeah, we go through the lean manufacturing in the 6S. From the beginning in the sort, yeah, we use remove unused all item. Yeah. And this, in the sort, yeah, one of the root causes of the problem is because the storage is not able to accommodate the item inside the bag making making storage. So that's mean that project we design, yeah, we design some rack, yeah, to accommodate, yeah, the thing all of in the rack. So I mean all of the thing in the product we put in the rack ourselves. Yeah. Okay, so we design the new layout for the rack. Yeah, and after that, yeah, we know now the rack before the sort, yeah, and after the sort and the set in order. So now the shelf or the rack now is become a good manage the thing in the rack, so quite easy to find or quite easy to find the product. Okay. Yeah, and after set and order, we go to the shine. Yeah, replace the old boxes that are contaminated heavily with dust. So we threw it a lot of thing is unused item in that area. Yeah. And after that, we go to the standardized. Yeah, we make a procedure. Yeah, we set up the procedure, and we go to the labeling. Yeah, and after that, we go to the put instruction when the red for some product we put in that area. Okay, yeah. And also in the standardized, yeah, we use some software, or we use some management warehouse, yeah, with the some program, so we can put we can use the list of all the product in that program. So from the program we know, yeah, the things or the product how much the product in that rack, or how much that product is already go out. Okay, and after that we go to the system. This is the last, yeah, the last but not the least. We have to maintain, yeah, we have to maintain with the thing or with the system before the last S. So that means we call the 6S of Petra, yeah. And finally, we go to the sustain, yeah. And last is the pet safety. So everything, if we arrange for the 5S, we have to concentrate, or we have to focus on the safety. I think the safety is very, very important to work in that area, because a lot of things in the layout in the highest area, so quite difficult, not quite danger to make a safety. Okay. Yeah. So from the safety, the item on the top row of the cell are out of the reach. So we use the stairs. And about the control, after we go to the improve, now we go to the control. For the control, yeah, we use or we decided for the standard procedure. So we make a standard procedure for the item going out or item going out. Yeah. And the last, after we go to the implementation 6S, we go to the observation after the improvement, and we got the data. The mean of the observed from after improvement is around 31, and the occurrence or item found it around 100%. So now from the data we can see, yeah, now after we improve, the mean of the find the item is reduced from the 166 to the 31 second. Yeah, because they already implemented of the 6S. Yeah, and the second thing about the accuracy, yeah, first is 60%, now become to the 100%. So we can conclude that the item filling up, even though the company has already set designated place for the access product, the product are not monitored. So with the DMAC methodology and 6S principle, yeah, is improved, yeah, was created according to the 6S principle. So we can improvement the changes resulted in the improvement of the 6S principle implementation, improve search time and improve item search accuracy. Yeah, and we have give some suggestion. Yeah, to sustain the improvement and utilize the tools in order to reduce the number of items in the storage and to prevent the item filling up again in the future. So that means the company should be sustain the improvements. And other divisions as production planning and inventory control division can also utilize the warehouse management system in order to use the item currently in the bag making storage for use when orders of the same item come in. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Jani, for your presentation. Do we have any questions from the group? So again, the presentation was about implementation of Six Sigma philosophy and 6S principles in bag making warehouse at PPX. Do you have any questions?
Yeah. Yeah, they have a question. How to make improve warehouse performance when most of the customers are using convenient way? They request to place their order until certain time. Yeah, okay. The company wants to place their customers. Most of the customer can request to place their order just big customer with which impact to their profit. Yeah, it's good question. Yeah, how to improve warehouse performance? Yeah, actually, the first we have to have a management warehouse system. So that means we classify which customer is premium customer or that means we have to analyze which one the customer premium, so we can set up the area or the storage for the premium customer. So more easy if the customer premium to take that product. So this means we have to analyze, analyze which one the premium customer. Yeah. Okay.
Right. So I hope that question was already answered. Right. I have one more question for Jani. There's been plenty of research works in the literature which raises that some debates about the obsolescence of Six Sigma as a management tool. What can you say about the relevance of Six Sigma and 6S implementation with respect to your work here?
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Ms. Bongo. Yeah, actually, quite long time when if we talk about the Six Sigma is quite long time. So maybe some authors say that's it's quite obsolete. But yeah, when we implement it or combine with the 6 or 5S, sometimes we call now the course is Lean Six Sigma. So we can combine the Six Sigma with the 5S, we call Lean Six Sigma. So now quite a lot of application in the company applied about the Lean Six Sigma. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. One more question. What were the difficulties that you encountered during the course of your study?
Yeah. It's quite difficult in the steps, yeah. In my experience, yeah, the problem when some company implemented the Six Sigma, that is the culture or environment. Yeah, that means quite a lot of company maybe they want to apply the Six Sigma, but yeah. The environment or the culture in their work is quite difficult to think about the improvement. So that's quite difficult to implement the Six Sigma regarding the culture.
All right. Yeah, you have a point in there. Thank you very much again, Jani Rahardjo, for your presentation. Very insightful, in fact. Thank you. I'm now going to turn over the floor to my co-session chair, Dr. Im, for the continuation of the presenters today.
Thank you, Dr. Miriam. Right, so we are going to continue with the next presenter by the name of Ezekiel Landicho Bernardo on the title on Explanatory Modeling of Factors Influencing Senior Citizen Telehealth Adoption in COVID-19 Pandemic. Dr. Eze, the floor is yours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Let me share my slides for a while. Can everyone see my slides?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ezekiel Bernardo, a PhD student from De La Salle University, Manila, Philippines, under the mentorship of Dr. Rosemary Seva, our keynote speaker earlier. I'm glad to present to all of you our work entitled Explanatory Modeling of Factors Influencing Senior Citizen Telehealth Adoption in COVID-19 Pandemic. Coronavirus disease 2019, or COVID-19, has been the most prevalent health crisis in the recent time. Within a short period of time, the outbreak developed exponentially into a pandemic that infected millions of people. And as of today, World Health Organization has tallied 104 million cases. This strikes far greater than the combined cases of all recent recorded pandemics, such as Ebola, avian influenza, and the early bubonic plague. Beyond this number, though, aside from the health consideration, this has been also accompanied by a large degree of fear, anxiety, uncertainty, and economic disaster worldwide. This issue are magnified for countries that have limited resources, disarray management, and disproportionate system for countermeasures, such as in the Philippines, my country, where we rank currently third in Asia as COVID hotspot. With limited testing capacities and protective equipment, our country focused in minimizing the person-to-person contact. For example, social distancing, travel bans, lockdowns, quarantines, and etc. Yes, the solution works, but also highlights challenges as it traverses into the new normal. For instance, long queues has been experienced, economy suffered severely, education system has forced to shift into a different mode. But among all, being in a health crisis, healthcare has been limited or at worst unavailable to the most of population. Specifically, with the travel and movement restriction only allowing adults ranging from 18 to 40, the aging and vulnerable groups have will have trouble in actually getting their daily or monthly checkup. The contact limitation brought the worst on us. The routine checkup has been halted and many people have suffered as they are not allowed to go outside to conduct such activities. This should have been not the case of if telehealth had been placed in the country, just like in most of the well-developed countries. However, this idea is still unheard during the onset of the pandemic. So what is telehealth, you may ask? As defined by WHO, this is the delivery of healthcare services remotely with the use of existing information communication technology, let's say video call. In this manner, provision of basic or routine healthcare services can still be acquired without the risk of exposure in a congested hospital setting, which is troublesome for our aging population. This should have been a perfect fit for the Philippines, but its rapid and unstructured implementation months after the onset of pandemic is blindsided on what factors really is important for the people that will use it. Anecdotes from the Department of Health, the lead agency for healthcare in the Philippines, cited that the problem of adoption revolves on the issue of perceived quality, environmental and social issues, and perceived internal challenges. Though can be credited useful, the qualitative nature of this does not provide proper prioritization and appropriational plan to support current efforts, especially that there are limiting factors involved in this setup. This dilemma on technology adoption, though, is not new in the world of research. For the last few decades, technology adoption has been the common theme amongst researchers, aiming to give insights on the crucial factors that will drive our health adoption process. Several acceptance model or adoption model has been formulated with one of the most verified adoption model is the Unified Theory of Acceptance and Use of Technology, or UTAUT, which was developed by Venkatesh last 2003. This was a combination from 8 previous adoption models prioritizing different factors and highlights 4 main factors, which includes first, performance expectancy, or the perception regarding technology's usefulness. Second is effort expectancy, or the amount of effort expended to carry through with specific task. Next is social influence, or degree to which individual values the possible approval, recommendation, and satisfaction of important reference. And lastly, facilitating condition, or the perception of availability of the necessary resources to use the technology for a specific task. Having the qualitative researches or anecdotes from our lead agency and the capability of adoption models as shown earlier, the need to understand the adoption of telehealth in the Philippines, especially for the senior citizens, can now be addressed. The following objectives are proposed for the study. First is to create a model that captures the adoption under the health crisis time. And second, to strengthen the idea, the objective will focus on contextualizing everything, both for the senior citizens and the factor present to them. Using the Unified Theory model as the initial framework, it is proposed that the higher performance utility, lesser effort to use, higher social influence, and availability of facilities will positively impact intention to use telehealth. This is backed up by the theory and previous work under the healthcare adoption theories that uses UTAUT2. Aside from the 4, the added factor for the model is perceived trust. This is proposed to be important in telehealth with virtual interaction and exchange of sensitive information will be apparent. With that, it is proposed that it has a positive impact on intention to use. Technology anxiety is the second factor added to the model. With telehealth structured on the use of technology, it is hypothesized that it has a negative impact on behavioral intentions, especially that we're transitioning from a face-to-face consultation with a doctor to a technology-driven mode. Third factor added is resistance to change. Being a new technology, since most of the senior citizens are again aware of the face-to-face consultation only, this is considered to play a critical role on the use of it. With that, it is hypothesized that it has a negative impact on behavioral intention. Lastly, the health crisis effect, which is something that brings this model complete in the form of COVID-19 fear, is included. Both the physical and psychological effect is known to bring different approach and adoption. With that, it is hypothesized that it has a negative impact on intention to use. Use behavior is also added for a longitudinal validation of the model. All in all, this is the model proposed for the study. And this is the model that I am calling the Health Crisis Technology Adoption Model, or HCTAM. The model was tested using a structured survey with 40 items to be rated in a 7-point Likert scale. This was deployed online since we have pandemic during that time, or severe restrictions that time, using convenient snowball sampling. All in all, 267 usable data points were acquired after the initial screening test. Factor analysis was also done to test the structure of the model and receive outstanding scores as shown in the figure on the slides. The results on your screen is the output of the structural equation modeling under a partial least squared method. Answering the first objective, all of the factors mentioned in the model were determined to be significant, showing that our model, or proposed model, is quite robust at a certain degree for adoption. As for the second objective, it shows that technology anxiety amplifies the effect of effort, social, and facilitating condition. Resistance to change dampen performance effect while strengthening effort. Lastly, COVID-19 fear amplifies performance and social while dampening perceived trust. To have a better appreciation, let me explain it to you per factor based on the level of importance with operational recommendations. First, effort. As senior citizens view telehealth easy to understand and to operate, the more they will be motivated to use, which is quite existing on every technology adoption. This puts the effort to use telehealth to be topmost priority. It should be designed not to alienate, but to remove the hiccups of a traditional face-to-face consultation. Following this is social influence. Telehealth systems should consider strengthening the approval of significant referent of the senior citizen for them to be motivated to use the system. Here in the Philippines, family members and celebrities can do that. Third important is perceived trust. This is an added factor from the original unified theory model of Venkatesh. The main objective for this is to minimize the doubts in terms of information quality, security, and privacy. Trust can be eminent via recommendations from trustworthy institutions, let's say from DOH, our lead health agency, or figures of trust organizations with approval seals. Fourth is performance, or its utility. Telehealth should provide the services needed by senior citizens. Determination of the most opted healthcare services should be prioritized. Appreciation should happen based on the utilities it offers. And lastly, facilitating condition. Support on the provision of resources, both hardware and capacity building to use telehealth should be the topmost priority. Obviously, senior citizens will not be able to use telehealth if they do not have the necessary software and hardware for it. To sum it up, in order to boost adoption of telehealth in the Philippines, especially for the senior citizen and vulnerable groups, it is best to position action plan towards this fight. First, low effort. Second, support and motivation. Third, build trust. Fourth, better performance compared to the traditional face-to-face consultation. And lastly, availability of facilities and training. Moving forward, and for those who want to continue our work, these are our recommendation. First, cross-national study can be done for comparison. Second, the study can also be extended to the possible inclusion of caregivers or family members, as they are most of the time users of the system designed for the elderly. Third, additional factors can be promoted to increase the overall predictability, let's say cost function. And lastly, the findings of the study could be tested on different time or level of adoption of telehealth. Again, our study focuses on the early onset of pandemic in a country with no or limited telehealth services. That is our research. I hope that this work not only open your theoretical curiosity, but also your hearts in helping our society to be structured for better tomorrow for everyone. Thanks, and in Filipino, maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. Ezekiel. Sorry if I did not pronounce your name correctly. Yeah, hopefully I can just call you short name. Yeah, Iza, is it Iza or Bernardo?
Ezekiel.
Ezekiel. All right, Eze. All right, so
Yes.
Eze, thank you very much for the presentation. Very comprehensive, very visual. Yeah, we like photos a lot, and you showed us a lot of photos, and you're able to explain every relationship very, very well. Okay, let's see. I think there's no question from the audience for now. All right, there's one question, I think, one or two. Let me see. Clear. Okay, comment, right? Comment from Ms. Shanti. Clear explanation, Mr. Eze. Good work. I'm wondering, among the 5 factors that you explained in adoption, what are the main challenge? What are the main challenge that, wait, I can't really. What are the main challenge that encountered by most of the senior citizen? So of the 5, which one is actually the highest in terms of challenges?
For the question regarding what are the main challenges that encountered by most of the senior citizens, actually it is in terms of effort expectancy, or the amount of time they need to learn, amount of time they need to explore in order to properly use the system. Okay? As compared to the traditional system that they are very much aware of, they need to go to the hospital, they need to go to the clinic, then talk to the doctor. Telehealth is quite different, especially for senior citizens. So I hope I answered that question.
Right.
I think there's a previous question for that. Telehealth will improve work satisfaction with better follow-up patients. Is this technology properly integrated to hospitals' organization system? As support to professional practice, will this technology change into robots in the future? And if the answer is yes, then how to handle the medical human resources supply future? Okay, so regarding that question, actually we have an ongoing project regarding the last question on whether it will be transitioning into a robot or basically a chatbot system. Based on our findings, there is a clear stop between having a human interaction and a robot interaction. And for senior citizens, they do not build trust and they do not believe on the performance of robots. They actually rely more on people or interaction. So I think for senior citizens, that will be in the distant future. But as of the moment, as we grow in this technology, we need still doctors to interact with our senior citizens. So I hope I answered that question also.
Yes.
Okay, so last question.
Right. Yeah, you answer very well. I guess basically the mean, right? The mean of all the individual independent variable will be able to give you some ideas as well. Second question is from Anggita. How would you consider the possibility that some of the senior citizens, if any, may not believe in COVID-19?
That's a controversial question, actually. This was asked also by my advisor, Dr. Rosemary Seva, during the time we are doing our work. Based on our interviews, especially here in the Philippines, most of the senior citizens suffered a lot. They are contained in their houses. They are not allowed to go out. They experiences the being distant with the current technology like Facebook, social media, or whatsoever to accompany them during the lockdowns. So most of them are actually aware that COVID-19 is true. Not all the severity that we, especially for engineers and medical doctors, understand COVID-19, but they know COVID-19. But assuming that there is a certain percentage that people not understanding COVID-19, I think since the model actually showed that one of the factors is performance expectancy, if we can actually promote telehealth as a better means rather than commuting towards the hospital that takes about 1 hour, especially here in the Philippines, lining up in the long queues, we can promote telehealth that if you're going to use this, you just need to open your phone, you open your laptop, and you can actually talk to the doctor. I think that is the best avenue if they do not actually believe in COVID-19. So I hope I answered that question.
Mr. Easy, since we're on this slide, can you clarify further? What do you mean by people who are experiencing fear in COVID-19 actually demands more satisfaction performance, yeah, before the doc? Did you perform, yeah, the fact that you are running quite a number of moderating variable, all right, technology anxiety, COVID-19 fear, resistance to change as the moderator, did you actually perform interaction plot to help you interpret the results better?
Yes, I actually did an interaction plot since from my global test, all of them are significant. However, I'm questioning the reliability of it. So I added a interaction set up in this one. So I actually determined that not all factors are actually moderated by this specific factor. So yes, I did actually interaction plots.
Right. Is it from your hypothesis? You were saying that COVID-19 fear, right, negatively moderate. So I just wonder, you know, if the senior citizens has a negative impact, right, on the, you know, so if the senior citizens are really having high fear for COVID-19 and they are trying to look for alternative platform, right, to seek medical advisors, chances are they may be more prone to telehealth. So to me, the
actually,
fear, right, may have a positive impact instead of negative.
On that, let me clarify this one. COVID-19 fear has a negative impact on senior citizens' behavioral intervention. So my initial premise for this one is that if the senior citizen is actually engulfed with COVID-19, let's say the news about COVID-19, they will very much be, or they will actually opt talking to a real doctor, having a live conversation with a doctor, face-to-face consultation with the doctor, rather than over a phone, over a video call. Because since that includes anxiety, fear, disassociation with what is happening in the society, a live body actually talking to you with the expertise that you are actually needing will either negatively impact your adoption towards telehealth. But the points raised here is, yeah, that is correct. If you have COVID-19, later on, as we actually validate the model using different age groups based on our recommendation, COVID-19, if they are actually fearful for lower age groups, they are actually adapt more on telehealth rather than going face-to-face because of the cautions or safety protocols.
Right. Yeah, you have a point too. I guess it's actually the matter of how you measure COVID-19 fear. Yeah, your measurement items may determine the direction. All right. Thank you very much for your presentation and also your answers. Yeah. Any further questions from audience? I don't see any further questions here in the chat. So thank you very much. Yeah, that's all for your presentation, Easy. Yeah, thank you very much again. Very inspiring title and very timely title. Yeah, so thank you a lot, yeah, for your effort to explain very well to us. Okay, so now we can move on to the next presenter. Right, the next presenter will be Jabba Wu. Yeah, Jabba Wu on the title of Knowledge Management. Yeah, Knowledge Management for Thai SMEs exporting Thai local products from Thailand to China during COVID-19. Jabba,
yes,
you may start now.
Yes. Okay. Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can.
Yes, okay. Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Jabba Wu from Chiang Mai University, and I'm in my second year of graduate school. And today my title is Knowledge Management for Thai SMEs exporting Thai local products from Thailand to China during COVID-19 by using activity-based costing. And there are 6 main aspects for this topic, and I will come to first part, introduction. Why I choose the coffee product. Chiang Mai is known as the city of coffee has lots of coffee shops, and Hangzhou is also the city with the most coffee shops after Shanghai. And about the Thailand coffee market trends, we can see the trend is on the downward trend because of the COVID-19 maybe. And the problem is which knowledge model based on logistic management is suitable for exporting Thailand local coffee product from Chiang Mai to Hangzhou. And there is not enough information about how to export local Thailand coffee from Chiang Mai to Hangzhou. And there are two research objectives. First one is to study practical cross-border e-commerce of exporting Thailand's coffee product to Hangzhou based on a logistic management framework. And the second one is to design experiment and use activity-based costing analysis based on learning in action concept by comparing using land transport, air transport, sea transport, human carrying, and through the bonded warehouse, find out the most suitable logistic type. And about the second part, literature review, I will use intelligence research searching. This paper searched ranking of, first I need to choose one coffee product, and this paper will use intelligence searching and ranking of coffee product in Chiang Mai in searching engine to find out the coffee products with the most frequency from 7 different websites. And in China, I will use text and analysis from China's stamping application. Next, I will use activity-based costing and other factors on logistic management to help this experimental study provide more accurate cost of production. This can help this study decide which logistic partner to send from Chiang Mai coffee to China. And as well as having a clear understanding of manufacturing cost and time. Last, I will interview 3 experts, use triangulation. Someone who had experience about exporting Thailand products to China. Think they can prove my patterns, and it can find out which logistic pattern is suitable for my study. Third part is research methodology. The research framework, step 1 is information identification, then goes to data information analysis. Step 3 is logistic pattern design, and the 4th step is triangulation. Last step is a model come out. Step 1 is information identification about the logistic management and the coffee products. And step 2 is data analysis. This research uses intelligence searching to find the coffee product in Chiang Mai suits Hangzhou customers' favor. And the step 3 use activity-based costing to design logistic patterns. Step 4 is use triangulation. The last step is model of logistic pattern from Chiang Mai to Hangzhou. And this, there is the conceptual framework. So, and I will introduce the details, finding and discussions. Step 1 for information identification. And I searched from literature review and about the 5th logistic pattern, the details of that, some documents needed, and about the shipping time and the cost. About the intelligence searching, you can see 2 pictures left one is customer comments or coffee beans performance in Hangzhou. You can see education good test is the most one. And the right one is in Chiang Mai. I used 7 international websites, and we can see Akama is the best choice. And the step 2 is data information analysis. Which logistic factor is most important? Its shipping price is most important. And about which logistic partner does Chinese customer most like? And they most like directly deliver from bonded warehouse. And I choose coffee product information analysis. This research choose Akama coffee because of my results. This coffee called strong dark thin because this coffee beans flavor which is matched preference of Chinese customer. Then there is 3 patterns of activity-based costing. I think it's not enough, but in the future study, I will add more. Step 4 is about interview. I use triangulation, and based on the conclusion of triangulation analysis, 3 people have different opinions. Air transport was land transport is the best option, but during the COVID-19 period, it maybe takes more time, and the bonded warehouse has the fast shipping, but available even in the case of COVID-19. But enter the bonded house is very difficult. And sea transport takes longer than land transport, and is suitable for large value of raw beans, but not for business to customer. And step 5, last step is a model of logistic pattern. Choose the result is landed transportation, air transportation, and bonded warehouse. It's suitable for situation of COVID-19. So, they can use these 3 patterns. They use 3 logistic patterns and send product from Chiang Mai to Hangzhou. And conclusion and future research. Storing intelligence learning analysis. Akama is Chiang Mai product that best suits the taste of Hangzhou people, but maybe in using activity-based costing and triangulation analysis of the logistic pattern indicate that the evidence from the starting points towards the idea that coffee product could be transported by land, air, and bonded warehouse from Chiang Mai to Hangzhou. But the most important limitation lies in the COVID-19 pandemics. Talent export to China have become more stringent. Future study will address the use of experimental research to verify how much time logistic cost and how to readjust it to bonded warehouse, need which documents, and whether these 3 methods will affect the quality of coffee products. And thank you. It's all my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you very much, Ms. Jabal. Any questions from the audience? Right, we have not received any questions from audience yet. Let me begin with the first question. We learned so much from you, Jabal, about the different types of coffee. So thank you for sharing that knowledge. So apparently the most preferred coffee type is the Akama, yeah, Akama coffee, which is the strong, right? Akama is the strong flavored coffee, yeah. All right, my question for you is, how does knowledge management, your title talk about knowledge management.
Yes.
How does knowledge management related research question being answered?
I think knowledge management, because because I'm in Chiang Mai, so around my Thailand friend didn't know how to send Thailand product to China, and maybe I think I can use knowledge and engineering to capture knowledge and analysis and modeling and utilization to give them something about export product from Thai to China, like that. Use my research to help them how to know to send the product.
Right, thank you for explaining. Usually for knowledge management title, we very likely we are talking about the definition. Yeah, that knowledge management is actually comprised of multiple dimensions. Yeah, for example, knowledge transfer, knowledge storing, knowledge sharing, within the organization. Yeah, to what extent they manage their knowledge within the organization. Yeah, to make them more efficient. Yeah, so that is the component that is missing, right? And you talk a lot about activity-based costing. Can you explain with example, what do you mean by activity-based costing?
Like the step-by-step how to send the products, the cost, how much of the expert and the deliver fee, and it cost how long time to from Chiang Mai to Hangzhou, and in this how to say that, like with like that cost, price, and other factor. My
All right, yeah, if you have a definition of ABC, activity-based costing from the literature, cited with literature citations, and also with the component of ABC, that would be more convincing, right? Convincing, because so far we do not really see much literature content and literature citations in our presentation slide. There's a question from Miss Santi. Very interesting research, Miss Jabawu. The research has real practical implication for the SMEs of coffee products. Can the proposed logistic models be implemented for SMEs in other sectors for different country, or is it a very localized context? Do you understand the question? If you not very clear, then you can refer to the chat.
I think different country have different policy. I think maybe cannot.
Right, different policy and also different costing, isn't it? The distance is not the same, so the costing will not be the same as well. Right, good answer. Yeah, good answer to the question. All right, I think, and I guess triangulation, right? So when you talk about triangulation, methodology, you collect data from multiple sources. They are trying to do a triangulation. The triangulation part is not quite explained. Triangulation, that means compare and contrast at the end. What are the common, the common information that you extract, right? So I mean that, right?
I found the 3 experts about who has this such a experience about send product from Chiang Mai to China, and the first one is about the express company in Chiang Mai, and it's a land transportation company, and they usually almost in Chiang Mai, some buyer in Chiang Mai, they use the land transportation mostly, and the other one is Chinese owner in Chiang Mai has a coffee shop, and he told me about the situation of logistics between Thai and China, and he said it's very difficult to send products, but most suitable the one is land transport. But if some Thai SME companies can enter the bonded warehouse, maybe the time is the most quickly one, and he recommends that will be the best choice. And the third people is academic expert about, because he is researching about bonding warehouse all the time. So the professor told me bonding warehouse is the best choice. It's very quick and safety. So yes, that's my training evaluation part.
All right, thank you so much for your presentation. Yeah, we learned a lot from you. At the same time, I wish you can actually tighten up the storyline. Right now, there are quite a number of loose ends. Yeah, some of the research questions that you open up, I guess, require more in content. Yeah, in order for you to answer them in a more appropriate manner. But yes, you have a very interesting title. So thank you so much again for sharing your research. Right.
Thank you,
So
Doctor.
now, thank you. We can now move on to the last presenter for this session. Right, Anggita Leviastuti by the title of Empowering Women Through Social Media-Based Financial Literacy Education Program. Anggita, can you please share your slide?
Thank you. I will share my slides. Can you see my slide now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anggita, and along with my two co-authors, we are representing Institut Teknologi Bandung, Indonesia. Before we start, I would like to thank the organizing committee for the opportunity to present our work entitled Empowering Women Through Social Media-Based Financial Literacy Education Program. First of all, let me take you to how we came up with this idea. It began with Indonesia's still rather low financial literacy index, despite its achievement in terms of inclusion as reported by the Financial Services Authority in 2020. This is problematic given Indonesians are prone to financial scams and fraud, as in what happened with illegal peer-to-peer lending. Also, as the number is broken down, we also see that gender is among the aspects that are somewhat related to financial literacy. Finally, given that West Java has increasingly become the adoption target for various financial products and services, we are intrigued to assess the level of financial literacy of women in West Java and to design an education program through social media that will do the justice on improving their financial literacy. We offer an approach for structuring and disseminating financial knowledge using social media. At the same time, we did some procedures on gaining insights from women in Bandung, West Java, with regards to personal and household financial management topics they would like to know more. These insights serve as a basis in designing our knowledge contents, as well as enabling knowledge transfer from some experts behind our team to the targeted audiences. Next, I would like to take you to our main sources of literature. First of all, we mostly feel comfortable to follow the definition of financial literacy as proposed by Roland, for reasons that it highlighted the importance of both understanding concepts and being able to confidently perform financial decision-making. Regarding which area of personal finance that needs to be put into more attention, we found an article by Kumar, which argued that financial planning and debt management are the most essential. However, we believe that this will vary according to the samples. The next stream of literature provides us with some background on why women need to have their financial literacy improved. In 2011, Lusardi and Mitchell published the results of financial literacy assessment across countries, such as the United States, Germany, Sweden, and Japan, where they showed that women are less financially literate, especially when making long-term decisions. This is troublesome, especially since, according to Lin in 2020, women are known to be the financial manager in the family. Women are also found to be more vulnerable to various financial issues, given situations such as lifestyle, shorter work tenure due to motherhood, or even special cases such as widowhood and being single at old ages. Finally, our last stream of literature gives support to financial education program, especially to close the gender gap. Different types of interventions have been implemented. However, we believe that social media has high potential as it has the power to supply highly reusable user-generated content so that bridging the transfer process between knowledge owners and users will be easier. We use the framework of social media knowledge management proposed by Bharati, Zhang, and Chaudhary. Beginning with adaptation of the previous framework of the three dimensions of social capital, they added social media as it has the power to enable both social capital and knowledge management. The flowchart displayed here show how social capital is a crucial prerequisite leading for knowledge management to function. Finally, knowledge quality is affected by how well knowledge management performs. We put emphasis on the knowledge creation process, on the kinds of informations that our beneficiaries would like to learn the most. Since we aim on high knowledge quality, generating knowledge according to the needs of the audiences is at utmost importance. That way, the knowledge will have higher potential to be reused and transferred. We gathered our data through in-depth interviews, where the sample selection was done through judgment sampling technique. We designed our interview sections to include questions on demographic, financial planning, cash, and debt management. We adjusted the questions to reflect behavioral situations familiar to household settings, such as, do you record your daily transactions? Or do you discuss with someone in your family before making financial decisions? Then we adapted Bloom's taxonomy to classify responses, using a 4-point Likert scale ranging from no knowledge at all to having both the knowledge and ability to perform financial decision-making. We carried out data collection process and it resulted in 13 datasets. We assessed our data adequacy using the holdout method, where data is divided into 2 smaller groups for comparison. The data is said to be sufficient should the mean difference between the 2 groups does not exceed 0.2. Here we present some highlights from our study. From interviews, we found that our respondents showed very diverse financial planning behaviors. We found that 77% of our respondents are categorized as well literate. That is the highest rank in our taxonomy. With regards to demographic characteristics, we assess age, occupation, income level, and number of dependents. But we found no significance between these demographic effects and higher levels of financial literacy. As for responses by section, we recorded that several respondents had implemented transaction recording and evaluation system on a regular basis, although the methods are not standardized. Also, in terms of debt management, most of our respondents agreed that debt is not recommended and therefore avoided them, regardless of the providers. Our main goal for the interviews is to gather insights on what kind of knowledge should be included in social media knowledge platform. We treated responses in 2 ways. First, we addressed some misconceptions regarding financial related issues and use our contents to provide the correct understandings. One example for this approach was when we addressed some misconceptions on whether or not installments are part of debt. Second, and in smaller part, we address our respondents' aspiration in terms of providing them with the contents they would love to read beyond what they have already known. One example of this approach was when we created the content about credit cards and that they may provide some benefits when used responsibly. Finally, we disseminate our contents on Instagram under the account name @yukmapan. As we return to our respondents to see whether they feel some benefits from learning via the platform, we found that there was a significant addition in terms of respondents' understanding regarding financial issues. Our study is not without caveats. We identified 2 limitations in our study, including the fact that we did not delve into the various scenarios on why the gender gap in financial literacy does persist over time. Previous research found empirical support that men are driven by objective financial knowledge, whereas self-efficacy seems to play a significant part in encouraging women to be financially literate. This difference implies that how financial knowledge is narrated and presented would require distinct approach with regards to the gender of the audiences. Another limitation is present considering the role of potentially prerequisite variables in order to make financial education more effective, such as previous experiences to traits such as cognitive ability or emotion. These variations among individuals imply that there is no one-size-fits-all in terms of relevant knowledge of financial literacy. To conclude, our study shows an encouraging sign of high degree of financial literacy for women in Bandung, West Java. Using our financial literacy assessment methodology, we show that more than 3/4 of the respondents in our sample were included in the well-literate group. That is the highest rank on our taxonomy. However, the variability of financial management behavior found in this research calls for a more comprehensive financial education program. For future study, we are excited to see some proposed methods to measure the effectiveness of financial education programs. Also, as there are many ways to learn, it is also interesting to see which approach, or even some combinations between approaches, does the work on changing behaviors with regards to financial decision making. That's all from my end. We welcome any questions or suggestions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Anggita. Very structured, very solid literature. Really enjoy listening to your research explanation, right? The flow and so on. Any questions from the audience so far? All right, we do not yet receive any questions from the audience. Can I ask you first question? Right, my question relating to your research question, yeah? Can you recap your main research questions?
So our main research question is we want to see how to design a financial education program using social media. But we are most specified into our sample that is women in West Java, especially in Bandung as the capital of West Java.
So are you able to answer your research question? Your research question is about how, right? So what are the answers to the research question?
Yes, yes, we are able to answer that question in terms of one, we collected insights from women in West Java regarding to what kind of information they would like to know, or is there any misconceptions about financial related issues. And so our content will be addressed to correct that misconceptions. And also if they want to know more, for example, they want to know about investments, then we will provide it. So it's more like when we say in social media, it's a user-generated content basically. But here, our user is the women in West Java. So my team and the experts behind, we are trying to accommodate that and make some platform for that.
Right. So at the end of the day, you and your team managed to generate a few content, yeah, for education, is it? Literacy, financial literature education. The example that you were given in your presentation was a credit card.
Exactly.
Right. And the fact that you were having basically you interview participants, women participants who are the key manager, right? Or maybe who are the person who really manage their household finances in Bandung. The fact that 77% of them already well literate, right? And only 23% of them are literate. Right. I mean, so basically, majority of them are well literate. So, what kind of opinion they provide can actually help you to design your content?
So I think the reason why our results were high because Bandung is, in fact, a capital city. So it has been adoption target for many various financial products and services. So I believe women in Bandung are mostly aware of the various financial services and products. And the way they gave us insights for our contents is, as I told you before, correcting misconceptions. For example, we have this one respondent that when we asked about, are you into some kind of debt? And then she said, no, but I have installments. So the misconceptions were there. She thought that with paying installments, there will be no debt, but that's not the correct understanding. So our content was addressed to correct that misunderstanding. But also we also found some people, some women that are really well literate, and then they requested to us to make some contents about investments for housewife maybe. Yeah, so I think it is more like by request contents in our end.
Right. So when you demonstrate that 77% of the respondents are well literate, does not mean that they are well literate financially, right? You are just saying that education-wise, they are actually considered above average education background, right? Okay.
Yes.
All right. It's actually interesting that you are able to identify the knowledge gap, or maybe correct the misconception, and those are very much direct channeling direct benefits to the society. So I'm sure you and your team have done a very good job in helping the women, women in the society. All right. Any questions from the audience? Last opportunity for you to ask, because Anggita is our last presenter for this session. All right. If there's no further questions, pass back to you, Mr. Rio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anggita. Mr. Rio, are you taking over the session?
Yep, but not just yet, Doctor.
Right.
First of all, thank you for the session chair, Dr. Bongo and Dr. Im.
Thank you.
Now it's the time for you to congratulate our presenter, all of the presenter, and awarding their certificate of presentation. So I will show the certificate, and our session chair will call out their name.
How do you want us to do it, Mr.? Sorry, I did not get your name. Are you replacing, right? Mr. Rio, right?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So right now we're on a session where the part where where the session chair, whether I say first Dr. Im, and the first four is Dr. Im, and the rest of the three will be presented by Dr. Bongo, I think. So we can divide the certificate. Right now, our session chair should awarding the certificate to our presenter, Doctor.
Right. So how do we do it? I will just welcome the presenter to.
Oh, okay. You can write. You can read out their name, call out their name, and read for their title of the manuscript, and then proceed to the next certificate. Something.
Oh, okay. So you will take care of the the recording part, to having the the presenter to actually virtually receive the certificate, right? Okay, so now is the presentation, certificate presentation time. We've welcomed the first presenter, Mr. Roland, Joshua Hasunungan, Silitonga, right? From Institute Technology Harapan Bangsa, for presenting the manuscript on assessment of management innovation in a dairy company, right? So we please, right? Okay, and Miss Mariam, do you like to take over, or?
Yes, please.
Right.
All right, I'd like to present the certificate of recognition to Alexander Kristen of Petra Christian University for the manuscript entitled A Proposal on How to Use Software Reliability Growth Model to Build Confidence in Dashboard Testing. So presented at the International Conference on Industrial and Systems Engineering Technology, Innovation and Management this April 22nd, 2002. Congratulations, Alexander. And then we also award the same certificate to Khanis, Satya, and Nugraha of the same institution, Petra Christian University, for the manuscript entitled Two-Stage Memory Allocation Using AHP and Knapsack at PT Berka. So this is also presented in the International Conference on Industrial and Systems Engineering, Technology, Innovation, and Management, presented today, April 22nd, 2022. Congrats. And then we have Jani Rahardjo of Petra Christian University, also awarded a certificate of presentation for the manuscript entitled Implementation of Six Sigma Philosophy and 6S Principles on Bag Making Warehouse at PTX, presented at the International Conference on Industrial and Systems Engineering, Technology, Innovation, and Management, awarded this 22nd of April. Dr. M, please proceed.
Right. Thank you, Dr. Miriam. So this is followed by the presenter by the name of Ezekiel Landicho Bernardo, from De La Salle University, for the manuscript entitled Explanatory Modeling of Factors Influencing Senior Citizen Telehealth Adoption in COVID-19 Pandemic, presented at ICISETIM, virtual conference, 22nd, 23rd, April 2022. So congratulations, Easy. And our second last presenter being Jiabo Wu from Chiang Mai University for the manuscript entitled Knowledge Management for Thai SMEs Exporting Thai Local Products from Thailand to China during COVID-19. Congratulations, Jiabo Wu. And lastly, our last presenter for the session, Anggita Leviastuti, from Institute Technology Bandung, for the manuscript Empowering Women Through Social Media-Based Financial Literacy Education Program. Thank you very much to the presenters today. Congratulations for all, for a job well done. Very inspiring topics. We learned so much from you. Back to you, Mr. Rio.
Okay, thank you so much once again, Dr. Miriam and Dr. Im, for great chairing these sessions. Next, congratulations to all the participants who already really done a good job in presenting their papers. And also all the participants who already participate and actively involved in giving questions, giving feedbacks, even suggestions and the contribution in the scientific forum of the International Conference of Industrial and System Engineering, Technology, Innovations, and Management, ICISETIM, is highly appreciated. And right now, I kindly invite everyone, all the participants, to open up the camera so we can have a group photo sessions together. Please. Okay, I will take a screenshot. Okay, on the count of three, please smile. 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay. To the second page of the 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, thank you for the participation. And on to the next agenda. There are a few post-conference informations that I would like to address for all the participants. So this is the timetable of the publication timeline. As you can see, the information for the ICISETIM publication opportunity is stated on the website at icisetim.com. But pay attention to the timeline here, where will be the conference paper proceeding published, extended full paper deadline for journal, so on and so forth. This is the process that the author must do in order to complete the post-conference process and get the international journal recommendations. At last, on the day 14, after the conference finished, the author who wants to proceed to the publication process must upload their final full paper. And of course, after the revisions and including the feedbacks during the presentations. And also, once again, please pay attention to the timeline as you can see on the screen. bear in mind that the main output of the ICISETIM is the conference paper proceeding will be available that the link here for big data, industrial design, information technology, ergonomic operational research, enterprise resources planning tracks. The conference paper proceeding can be accessed at that link, as you can see on the screen. As for the innovation management, knowledge management, entrepreneurship, sustainability studies, supply chain management, and management science tracks can be accessed to the shown link. Okay, after the conference finish, the DOI will be active soon, and after that, it will be automatically indexed in Google Scholar. Then later on, will be submitted to the DOAG onward. So please kindly check out the conference website and RSF Press website to get the update access. In addition, author requires to revise approximately 80% submitted conference paper to avoid self-plagiarism, because the full paper or the extended one will undergo the second round of scientific review to determine your journal recommendations for publications. And all accepted papers have the opportunity to be published in reputable international journal indexed by Scopus, DOAG, Copernicus, Google Scholar, Dimension, with, of course, applied terms and conditions. Okay. Right now is the sharing session. I would like to invite our participants from the floor. Perhaps Mr. Ezekiel.
Hi.
Okay.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please, Mr. Ezekiel, I invite you to give us your testimonials and what is your thought about our sessions today, so we can improve on the future.
All right. First of all, I want to thank the organizers of this session, especially this breakout room, because it was held properly. Although there are some time extension in every presentation, but yeah, this is a confidence and that is a norm. Overall, I really like how the flow of the program from the morning session up to now, and hopefully until tomorrow. And in terms of learning, I learned a lot, especially most of the presentation is outside my field. So I learned some methodology that quite revealing, especially that I am doing my dissertations right now. Overall, again, thank you so much for the opportunity to present, and for the organizers, job well done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ezekiel. Next, I would like to invite Dr. Anggita Leviastuti to give her testimonial regarding our event, please.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rio, for the opportunity. First of all, job well done for the organizing committee for this event, and thank you for all the participants. I truly learned a lot about all the presentations today, and also about the discussions. It is very exciting to see how people are really interested in our topics. So thank you very much, and I hope wish all the best for you all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your words of testimonials, Dr. Anggita. I hope that we can see you again on the next scientific forum. Okay, onto our next agenda. Sorry. Okay, I think that we have reached at the end of our session. So once again, I remind you, don't forget to fill the feedback form, as you can see on the chat box. Yeah, and also on the screen, you can see our link for the feedback form. And now we will have a short break until, actually, we're going straight to the main room. Is it, Bu Santi?
Yes, correct, Ria.
Yeah, after this, we're going straight to main room, yeah? Okay, so please go to the main room for the awarding ceremony for best presentations, and also awarding our token of appreciation for our session chair. So we also will be hearing a closing speech by Miss Christina. Head of the Bachelor Program in Industrial Engineering, Universitas Kristen Maranatha, Indonesia. Okay, once again, please kindly check your schedule at the conference program that the committee sent you before. To close the session on behalf of the International Conference on Industrial and System Engineering Technology Innovations and Management, which is hosted by Maranatha Christian University and Research Synergy Foundations, co-organized by the Salle University, Petra Christian University, and Chung Yuan Christian University, also supported by Scholar Vein, Research Synergy Institute, Reviewer Track, RSF Press, F1000 Research and Taylor, and the Francis Group. I would like to thank you for your kind attention and see you soon again at the main room, in the same room and link Zoom before. Okay, thank you very much. See you next time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Miriam. Thank you so much, Dr. Sarin.
Thank you. Thank you, Santi.
Thank you. See you in the main room.
Yes.
Thank you, Miss Santi.
Thank
See you all.
you.
Thank you, Miss Dr. Miriam.
Thank you, Dr. M. Bye-bye.